Hi to everyone. It is an honor to be here with you, and it's also an honor to be teaching in this moment right now. There's a lot going on in the world, and there's a lot that I'm praying for healing for and to, both in my life and in the world. So thanks for holding space for me, and I hope I can do the same for you all. What we're looking at today is Shir Shirim, Song of Songs, which is not necessarily the text you might think you should go to when you're looking for healing. Song of Songs is this sort of wild, erotic love poem in the Bible. Um, if you're looking for wild, erotic love poems, I would highly, highly suggest it. It's fun. Um, but it also is a contemplation on the meaning of life. It's a contemplation on what we do when we're faced with the limit of our existence. How do we contend with death? How do we make the most of the time we have? And the Bible's answer to that, the Tanakh's answer to that, in some sense, is the Song of Songs. So we will have a look. I'm gonna talk at you for a minute just to give us a little bit of context. And then I'm going to jump us to three really great verses in the Song of Songs. And then we'll do the Mi Sheberach. Tov. So the Song of Songs, as I said, it's read traditionally during Passover. So we're coming up on the time when the Song of Songs is traditionally read. It's this celebration of love as we get into, the rebirth of spring. It's one of the five Megillahs that we read, a Megillah per big holiday. And the best way I've ever heard it described is the Song of Songs is like a dream transcribed, which Ellen Davis wrote in her commentary on Song of Songs. It's this powerful idea. It's like it's lovers finding each other and losing each other, and it's hard to follow the plot, but it makes sense if you think of it as like I was having a dream and I can't quite tell what happened, but I know how it felt. So the two people in the Song of Songs, if we read it as an erotic love poem, are these two lovers who are seeking each other, a female lover seeking her male lover, and the male lover seeking the female lover. And we can put all sorts of names to those lovers. They might be an anonymous man and a woman. They might be shepherdess and King Solomon, or the way that Jewish tradition usually reads it, it's Israel writ large seeking God. God in the role of the male and Israel in the role of the female. And that's not just Jewish tradition being, pious and a little bit crazy. It also really is rooted in the text, because a lot of the phrases that we find in Song of Songs are used very explicitly in other books of the Tanakh and other books of the Bible about God or about Israel. So it makes sense to read it as God and Israel seeking each other. So we're going to look at three verses about love as the answer to sickness, love even as the answer to death. I'm going to share in the chat the source sheet I'm using, and then I will also, I can share my screen. 1 second. Here we go. Share screen. There we go. So the first quote we're going to read is from the final chapter of Song of Songs. The bolded quote is the bit I want to emphasize. It says, I'll read it in the Hebrew. You all have it there in the English as well. Simeni kachotam al libecha, kachotam al zeoecha, ki azak mavet ahava, kashe kashaul kin'ah, reshefea rishpea ish, shalchavetea. So the bold here is ki azak mavet ahava. for love is strong like death, or for love is as strong as death. And this is this incredible, powerful idea that here in this poem, in this contemplation of two really quite young lovers seeking each other and having a fun erotic time together, in this one verse, we bring death in and we say, well, love is as strong as death, or love is strong like death. That the thing that's gonna outlast death, the thing that's going to make life worth living, is love. So let's jump back into the heart of Song of Songs and see how they build that idea. So next source, Song of Songs 2, the second chapter. The male and the female have been chatting with each other, flirting with each other, if you will. He's been describing her, she's been describing him. They've been talking about their body parts in all sorts of weird, interesting ways. If you haven't read Song of Songs, like go open the book after it, because it's too fun not to read. And then the woman speaks out to some sort of audience. We're not sure who exactly she's speaking to here. Maybe she's speaking to her friends, maybe she's speaking to us. And she says, Samchuni ba'ashishot refuduni betepuchin ki cholat ahava ani. Sustain me with raisin cakes and support me with apples, for I am sick with love, for I am love sick. Now that's bizarre. That is weird, right? I am love sick. Like, that's a concept we still think of today, we still use today, like I'm love sick. But it's not something we usually take seriously. What does it mean to be love sick? And if you're love sick, how do you get better? Well, one way, like to be sick with love, sick for love, sick, made sick by love, is to be all consumed by love. And unfortunately, the only cure for being lovesick is love. The thing that made you sick is also the thing that's going to make you better. It's really leaning into this love as like, I mean, Beatles style, right? This all you need is love. This if I can get love, then I will cure my sickness. Then I will no longer long for love because I've achieved love. However, looking at the first half of the verse, we say, okay, well, right now I'm sick with love, so I need these raisin cakes and these apples. Say, all right, like, I mean, I do that too when I'm, stressed or unhappy or literally sick. I do that same thing where it's like, all right, I'm gonna go get the Ben and Jerry's out of the freezer and go to town. Uh, but here the apples that you see were used a verse earlier to describe the male. So in some ways she's saying, support me with apples because apples remind me of this man I'm missing. And the raisin cakes get interpreted as, you can see in the Hebrew word, it's ashishot, gets interpreted as esh, fire, which when we interpret this as a relationship between the woman and the man, we see between God and Israel, we see esh, and we think of God. Tough. So Song of Songs 5, next source, quickly. The woman is talking again. She's just been looking for this guy. She can't find him. They keep having a missed encounter. And she wants the Benot Yerushalayim, her buddies, the daughters of Jerusalem, if they find this guy she's looking for, she wants them to tell him, Shecholat ahava ani, that I am love sick. I am sick with love. All right, so then the Midrash comes, Shir Shilim Rabbah, and says, let me interpret that for you. We have no idea what lovesick means. Shir Shilim Rabbah says, I'm going to give you 3 possibilities for what love sickness means. The Midrash is going to interpret the whole Song of Songs as if it's between Israel and God. And it says, the congregation of Israel said before God, the purpose of all the sickness that you bring upon me is to make me love you. That's a bold claim. the purpose of sickness is to make me love God. Okay. We'll leave that for a moment. We get another interpretation, another way to say, okay, what is the purpose of sickness? And this time we say, God, the purpose of all the sickness that the nations of the world bring upon me is to make me love you. So if the first one is saying, God, you make me sick, and the reason you make me sick is to make me love you, the second one is saying, God, the world makes me sick, other people make me sick, or nature makes me sick, and the purpose of that is to make me love you. And both of those, like, there's something there, there's something powerful there. There's something valuable in the idea that, like, the purpose of sickness is to lead us to love, but there's something that's also a little unsatisfying. So we're going to look at the third interpretation, another matter, for I am sick with love. What does that mean? Even though I am sick, I am still loved by God. And I like that one a lot. That's me being sick is not forcing me to do anything. It's even though I am sick, I'm not despicable. Even though I am sick, I'm still lovable. And when we come back to that very first quote from Song of Songs that we read, Ki aza kamavet ahava, for love is as strong as death, we wind up with this incredible idea that being loved, that loving and being loved is the thing that's going to outlast death. That even in these moments where we are so sick, or someone we love is so sick, it's the love that is going to keep going, that nothing is required of us, that even in a state of being sick, even in a state of missing or mourning, we are still loved and still lovable. Tough. There's one more quote on my source sheet, which I'm not going to read because we don't really have time, but I encourage you guys to read it afterwards. And I'm going to jump into the Mi Sheberach now.
Thank you, Bex. And just a reminder to everyone, we will share the recording along with the source sheet. So you'll definitely have the opportunity to look at that last text. But for now, we will start the Mi Sheberach.
Okay. And no one ever wants, like, the thing that actually makes people sick is hearing me sing. So I'm going to read this rather than sing this.
Bex, would you like me to, I can bring the more traditional text. I thought you were a Debbie Friedman person. So if this is better.
Mi Sheberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah. Hu yivarech v'yirpeh et hacholim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu yimalei rachamim aleihem לחלמים ולרפואתם, לחזקם ולחיותם. וישלח לכם רפואה שלמה מן השמיים, רפואת הנפש ורפואת הגוף, בתוך שאר חולי ישראל. השתה בעגלה בזמן קריב, ונאמר אמן.
Amen.
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 Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Amen. Amen.